Well, thank you everybody for being here today. I'm looking forward to playing some games with you today. My name's Leanna Kratko, and so yeah, we're going to play some games today. I have 3 games, I believe, to play. Just some webinar notes. The sound should be muted if I did this right, and so you don't have to worry about dogs barking and kids screaming in the background. If you have any questions, there is a chat box that you can type those questions into, and we will make sure we answer those. If not right away, for sure at the end. And there we go. So first thing is we want to talk about why we bother playing games. What is the whole point of games in math? Well, to be honest, games are to math what books are to reading. You can't learn to read without books, and in our opinion, you can't learn math without games. Games are going to provide your instant feedback as you go. You have to make sure you have the right answer before you can. If you don't, excuse me, if you don't have the right answer, you don't win the game. It's quite simple. They're also providing that interesting repetition for automatic responses. So for my daughter playing game today, there's no way I could get her to write 10 questions, but we can easily do lots and lots of game practice. And essentially, she's doing lots of questions. The more she does, the better she gets at those responses, those facts right away. And because it's in a social setting, it just makes it way more fun. And also, if you have kids anything like mine, context is key. So if I give them a reason and an application for what they're learning, they'll learn it. Without that application, what is the point? So games are going to give them that reason and application. So that's just a really brief overview. Our card games today actually come from Right Start Math Math Card Games book written by Dr. Joan Cotter. So that's where all our games are coming from, with one exception. This first one we have actually is not in the current card games book. It is in the second edition level D. And this was a new one to me. I just recently played this one with my daughter who's in D. And anyways, this one is a fun one. It's called Double the Product Memory Game. So it's a simple memory game, but it's basically going to familiarize the child with doubling multiples, like 4, and then we're going to double that to be able to know our 8 multiples, right? So we're going to play as 2 people. We're going to have 2 sets of multiplication cards, which are the blue ones, and one is going to be the double of the other. So when we say a set, we mean the multiples within. So we're going to use 4 and 8 today. So we have all the multiples of 4 in one set and all the multiples of 8 in another set. And our goal is going to be to collect the most cards. So here's how we're going to lay it out in random order. Upside down, we're going to have the multiples of 4 on one side, and random order upside down, multiples of 8 on this side. So the first person is going to go, okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to turn over 12. Now, how do I get to 12? I know that these are multiples of 4. So 4 times 3 equals 12. And 12 doubled is 24. Oh, and so then I'm going to go to the other side and flip over another card. I flipped over a 40. Ah, rats, that's not right. So turn them back over. Now it's your turn. So you're going to turn over on this side, a 20. Again, multiples of 4. How do we get to 20? 4 times 5 equals 20. What's 20 doubled? 40. So we're looking for that. Yay, we remembered 40. 8 times 5 is 40, right? We have 4s on one side, 8s on the other, okay? So then I get to collect those cards and go again. So now I have 36. What times 4? 4 times 9 is 36. 36 doubled is 72. So I'm looking for some, darn, no match. Okay, now it's your turn again. And so we get 4 times 3 is 12. I know that 12 doubled is 24, and I know where that 24 is. Nice. I can also say this for 12 doubled, or 4 times 3 times 2 equals 24, which is something else that we learned in the lessons previous building up to this game. And so I can say it that way as well. And I get to collect those cards, and then I get to go again. And we're just going to continue until all the cards are collected that way. So that's a fun one, helping to form strategies to make those connections between those multiples, because most students, most of us for that matter, and most of the kids are going to know multiples of 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10. Those are the easy ones. But if we understand that we can double our 2s to get our 4s, and we can double our 4s to get our 8s, and we can also double our 3s to get our 6s, it makes it way easier to remember those multiples. Now, the only ones that we're not reviewing in this game are 7s and 9s, because they don't have one of those doublings. But we get everything else, so that's a really great way to do that. So, very fun game that was new to me recently too. For the next couple of games, we're actually going to use our multiplication chart. So I just want to give you a really brief overview of how our multiplication chart works, or any one of them for that matter. So you can see along the top, we have one factor, 1 to 10, and along the left-hand side, the other factors, 1 to 10. So when you want to multiply 4, you go to the 4 along the top, times 5, you go to the 5 along the side, and you bring your fingers together and you get 20. Very simple. I'm sure you've used these before. There's actually, in that level D, there's a fun game that you can play as well to build that multiplication chart. And then you take away the redundant numbers. So you can see that 2 times 3 equals 6, but 3 times 2 also equals 6. We know that those are the same and those are redundant. So we can actually take away half of that multiplication chart, with that dividing line being our doubles, or our squares rather. And this is what we call our short multiplication chart. So really quickly, how this one works, we're going to color it so we can see, just like on our abacus, groups of 5. And we can see that, for instance, 36 is the 6th multiple of 6, right? 6 times 6, you go to the 6th row, the 6th number down on the left, and across to the 6th multiple, which is 36. 4 times 8, you start at the 4, you go across 4, and then down 4. So that's going to be the 8th multiple. Remember, on our old chart, it went straight across to that 8th multiple, which was also a 32. So that's how you find the 32 there. 7 times 9, you go across to the 7 and down 2 more, gives you 63. We can also think of it as going down to the 9th factor. So you're going to have both of your factors on that left-hand side there on this one, down to 63. Okay, so that's briefly how that works. Just a note about those two, they are really great manipulative that we can use to help kids. And it's one of those ones that they can use it. Honestly, it does not become a crutch. They can use it for as long as they need it. The more they use it, the better it's ingraining those facts into their brains. So don't be afraid to let them use those type of things. So here's our Ring Around the Products game that we're going to play today. So this is found in this actually is in the Math Card Games book in P32, P for multiplication, and 32. So for those of you who don't know, our math card games start out with P1 would be the easiest game in multiplication, and then they get more difficult as they go. So P32 is actually close to the end of the multiplication games, because we're going to be reviewing all of our multiplication facts in this one. Okay, we can play from between 2 and 4 players. We're going to be using the multiplication decks cards, the blue ones, all of them, and the basic card numbers, which are the green ones, everything but the zeros. And again, our goal is to collect the most multiplication cards. Okay, so here we're going to use our short multiplication chart, and we're going to lay out 6 of the product cards in the center, and then the basic number cards around the outside. So our goal is to find the factors that go together to get the product. Okay, so if we have 54 as our product, what are the factors to get 54? So we're going to find 54 on our chart, and we can see that it's in the 9th row across, and it's the sixth multiple of 9. So we know that 9 times 6 equals 54. We've got a 9 and we've got a 6 around the outside, so we can collect those 3 cards. Yay! And go again. So now we've got a 12, so we're going to find that again on our multiplication chart. It's the third multiple of 4, but we only have a 3, so we can't collect that one. Oh, but wait a second. There's another 12. And this 12 is the second multiple of 6. Okay, we have the 2 and we have the 6. So we can collect those two. 6 times 2 equals 12. And we're going to just keep going until we can't do any more. So 42, it's in the 7s, but oh, we don't have that 6. How about 50? Well, there it is. We've got a 5, but not the 10. 15. What are our factors of 15? It's the third multiple of 5. Yay! I have both of those. I can collect those. And how about a 9? 9 is a square. Cool. 3 times 3, but I only have 1 3. So I can't collect that. So now it's your turn. And so to start your turn, we're going to, oh, sorry, I forgot there's also another way to make 9, but we don't have that one either because we need a 1 and a 9. So when it's your turn, we're going to fill in all of those cards again. So you start with fresh numbers, and you're just going to do the exact same thing and see how many you can collect as well. So as you get really good at it, there can be some strategy there, because if you've got 2 ways of making that product, can I use this number somewhere else, and all that fun stuff. So as you get really good. But you can see with this game, it's a fantastic way to really analyze those multiplications, because it's not just simply, 8 times 2 equals 16. You have to really think about it and figure it out, and figure out why 8 times 2 is 16, and really use your brain, not just regurgitate numbers. And our third game is a division game. So this one is found in D12, in the division section in 12. And so it's a basic war game. We all know how to play war. It's a very simple one, whoever has the highest card, but we'll see how that goes. So this time we're going to practice our quotients, and we're going to try and do it as quickly as we can as well. So we're going to play 2 players. We're going to have about 40 multiplication cards and about 40 of our basic number cards without zeros. We're going to, again, collect the most cards. Okay, now, just a side note, I did a seminar a couple days ago, or a few weeks ago, about adding and subtracting games. And you can often just kind of modify slightly an adding game to make it subtraction, because they're exact opposites, aren't they? But division is different. It's not an exact opposite of a multiplication. And so this game is really going to help them recognize that. They need to know those multiplication facts, but you need to know that when you're dividing by 6, 48 is a multiple of 6, right? But so is, but 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53 are also going to give you the same quotient, aren't they? They're just going to give you a quotient with a remainder. Okay, so that's going to be important to recognize as we play this game too. Okay, so knowing that division is the inverse of multiplication, but it's more than that. We can use our multiplication chart again. And so each person is going to get half of the multiplication cards and half of the basic number cards. Okay, so you're going to flip over one of each. So my turn. I have 40 divided by 6. So I'm going to divide this. So I'm going to look in my 6th row and go across until I find 40, but I don't have a 40, do I? So, but I need to recognize that it is 6 with a remainder, right? So that's my answer, is 6 with a remainder. What's your answer? You have 36 divided by 4. So you're going to go to your 4th multiple and go, they're starting at your 36. You're going to go up and over to the 4. How many what is the other factor that goes with 4? Is 9, right? So you have a whole number. So you have 9. You can also go straight across there, 36, and you can see that it's 9 as well. It's the fourth multiple of 9 that way as well. So anyways, both ways are going to get you your quotient of 9. So I had 6, you have 9. Yay, you win. Okay, so you're going to collect those cards. Very, very simple, but it's definitely going to start out not as a quick game because this is going to take some time to figure out some of those kind of things, and that's a good thing. As you play it more often, you're going to get better at it and figuring out what those numbers are. Okay, so you're just going to keep going until either all the cards are gone or you've run out of time, whatever. One quick variation. We can also, so in that one we did the greater quotient. We can also do the greater remainder. So now you're looking for those remainders and looking for those ones that aren't going to end up being a whole number. So that's kind of a cool variation. So those are our 3 games today. Very fun. Again, they come from our Math Card Games book. In that card games book, we talked about multiplication and division games today, but there's also adding and subtracting, clocks, money, fractions, number sense, all those different things that you can really help pull out to help your kids in whatever thing they're learning for their math right now. This is what comes in the Math Card Games kit. So you get the book with all of the games, all of the cards that you need to play the games, an abacus and some other additional items that you need to play some games. This card games kit has also won Old Schoolhouse Award. It is part of our full math curriculum, so levels A through G for elementary and middle school math. And this full curriculum has won numerous awards. You can see the Marie Pride Practical Homeschooling Award 4 years in a row. We're very proud of that one. And as well as Old Schoolhouse Awards twice and some other ones as well. So this curriculum is definitely well respected among educators and parents alike. So fantastic curriculum. Just one quick quote here. Math needs to be taught so that 95% is understood and only 5% is memorized. So that's what these games are really reinforcing, is helping them to understand those things, because it's not just multiplication facts are not part of that 5% that's memorized. They're part of the 95% that's understood. And that's all I have to share with you today. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them there in the chat box. If you want to peruse around our website a little bit more, there's lots of other great webinars on there that you can take a look through and other information, or feel free to give us an email, send us an email or give us a call, and we would love to help you out on any of that. So thank you very much for hanging out with me today. It was very fun.